Piano Tech Support here. Let me start this video with a question. How much do you practice per day? I did a poll on my YouTube some time ago and the result was this. Most of you practice between 0 and 2 hours a day. That's a respectable amount, but how much should you be practicing per day? And is it a per day measurement or per week or even per month? First, let's talk about what your intentions are with the piano. If you're someone like me, then I would guess your goal or intention is to get better. However, if you just want to have fun at the piano, of course that's a completely different conversation. So let's say you're a beginner pianist who has been playing for less than a year. This is a critical time because the quality of your practice will highly predict your future with the instrument. The key here is to be persistent. That means you should practice every day or almost every day. The minimum amount here should be 30 minutes so that you can work through some repertoire and make progress in your pieces and your technique. It is so that your fingers have enough time to improve. Think of it like going to the gym. A 10-minute session doesn't make any sense because you don't stress your muscles enough, but a 30-minute session can have some benefits if done regularly. If you have been playing for a couple of years and are looking to become more serious about the piano, or you want to do the next step, you should definitely ramp up your practice sessions to about 1.5 to 2 hours per day. If you cannot tolerate playing 2 hours at once, or it doesn't fit your time schedule, you should split those into 2 sessions of an hour each. And if you cannot fit 2 hours into your schedule, aim for 1.5 session of practice every day. In this time you can improve on multiple pieces, maybe 2 or 3 in 1.5 hours, and you have enough time to maintain and slightly improve your technical abilities with the right practice. Concentration is of course a big factor, and your sessions should be to the point, concentrated and efficient. Even if you are a beginner or a professional or something in between, I'm a strong believer in quality over quantity. I have had days where I only practiced for 1 hour, but I did everything that I had to do, which brought me a better result than if I did 4 hours of distracted practice. Now let's talk about if you want to be a professional pianist. How many hours should you be practicing? The short answer is at least 3 hours per day, and after that it depends. 3 hours has been shown to be the gold standard for practice times of musicians. If you're a professional, do at least 3 hours a day, every day, no excuses. Now you might be thinking, what about all those people that practice 8 hours a day? Well, personally I think that's not a good idea, and I can prove it to you. There are many great studies by Professor Dr. Alton Miller, who I am sure I will quote more often in my videos here. He's a German doctor and physician and a leading researcher in neurophysiology of musicians. He has many studies about practice, practice time and practice quality. He has showed in his studies that 3 hours is the minimum amount of time to keep or slightly improve your technical abilities on any instrument from a motoric standpoint. I would also like to show this slide from his presentation, in which a study is shown on the efficiency of practice. The participants had to do motoric tasks in the study, and notice how there is a peak in performance here, after which the effectiveness decreased. What does that mean? It means after a certain time of practice, the practice quality becomes way worse. The muscles become tired and less accurate, which impacts your technique, but also increases risk of injury. But also, your concentration becomes way worse over time. Your coordination also becomes worse. You don't listen to yourself so closely anymore because your ears are already tired, and this is not a good recipe for good practice. The amount we can concentrate for just isn't that long. I think an hour or 1.5 hours is already very good. So if you thought that 8 hours a day is a good idea, I can tell you after 8 hours, I don't know what you're doing. You're probably just staring into the abyss or just completely blanked out. Your mind is somewhere else. This is not a good practice. You are a human, don't forget that. You slow down. You cannot just go for 6 hours or 8 hours a day without slowing down or becoming worse. Is it worth it to practice worse? No, it's not. This means that as a professional, you should have multiple sessions of practice per day in which you practice for about 1 to 1.5 hours and try to reach that peak of concentration and peak of technique. After you have reached this peak, you stop practicing and do something else, maybe do something fun, and then later return for your next session. And lastly, I just talk about me personally. I practice at least 4 hours a day. I usually do 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. Although recently I have been practicing for 4 or 5 hours at once in one session. However, I take several 15 to 20 minute breaks, which helps my concentration and my hand also relaxes again. Thanks for watching this video. By the way, since recently I also have memberships on my channel, so check it out and check out all the features. I hope you like this. Leave a comment, subscribe, like, and I'll see you in the next video.